This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a gorgeous website or an online store. When was the last time you checked your socials and didn't see any type of aggression or meanness? I can't even tell you when the last time was for me. Every time I pick up my phone, there is some kind of nasty, angry sarcasm or bullying, sometimes in news articles flashing by, sometimes in people's 3-line tweets, sometimes in those increasingly spiteful opinion pieces, and sometimes directed at me myself. Quarantine wasn't fun for anyone, and the isolation and anxiety and boredom and all that time spent online seem to have made us go peak angry online. But dear app users, guess what? The worst of quarantine seemed to be over. We can see each other again, the world is just outside with its soothing coffee shops and cute winter walks in the park. We don't any longer have to spend all of our free time on the sofa with our phone, reading mean articles on why we should hate Harry Styles or why reading books is bougie problematic or whatever. Our peak discontent and anger and anxiety can go away now. It's about time to bring back optimism, sweetness, and open-mindedness. Am I right? Okay, here's the problem. As soon as we pick up our phones, our lives are taken over by a hostile entity. No, I don't believe in alien masterminds curating our lives as some kind of simulation game. I mean another type of entity, one that we have all joined in creating ourselves. The aggression-addicted algorithm. There is a reason we're so swamped by the outrage and the bullying and the sarcastic witticisms on Twitter. It's because that content is pushed on us. And when news sites want clicks, or we ourselves are a little bit addicted to likes and engagement, and let's face it, who of us aren't, then negative content is what sells. That's what we need to create if we want the algorithm to push us. So the article writers will always look for a negative angle on any news or gossip, and influencers will often go for drama or outrage or conspiracy theories, because that's how you grow a channel nowadays. It's horrible, isn't it? We got a malicious algorithm telling us to be mean to each other, and we go just like, okay, cool man. Because of course it's also so damn contagious, this type of small scale aggression. When you're inundated with it every time you look at your phone, which is what, like 300,000 times per day, you will of course start feeling a bit spiteful yourself. Maybe join in the sarcastic, witty fun on Twitter even. But this shit, it has to stop already. Because sure, there are many reasons to be angry with, the state of the world, and we should be. There's so much injustice and greed and bad stuff, but my point is this. Being angry about injustices is not the same thing as being mean and cruel and starting unsolicited debates with complete strangers on Instagram. Bullying is not how we make the world a nicer place. Or am I missing something? I'm thinking of like the way we work mentally, like how our brains develop. And from what I read, it seems like the general theory is that up until we're about 20, our brains are flexible and open-minded and trying to grow into being adult people. After we're about 20 though, the brain feels like it's done experimenting and now tells us to settle down. Basically, it's like before we're 20, we go looking for ourselves. And after we're 20, we feel like we already know who we are, and we spend the rest of our lives defending our worldview or personality and our political opinions. So to oversimplify, whatever we thought at 18, 19 is what we'll think for the rest of our lives. And screw the person who tries to change our minds about, well, more or less anything. Isn't that just the saddest thing? That our brains are actively trying to tell us not to change, not to experiment with our personality or question, our worldview. We have to actively make a choice to stay open-minded and curious and go against our brain's boring attitude. And that made me think that maybe this is one of the reasons we're so obsessed with youth and movies about young love and high school reunions, and why it's so refreshing and fun to talk to kids, because we remember just how curious and open-minded and naive we were ourselves at 16, 17, before our brains shut the door on new, fresh ideas or changing our opinions. Social media has turned out to be the completely perfect place for our narrow-minded brains. It's so easy both to find like-minded people to comfortably agree with and different-minded people to debate and hate on and release our aggression on. Social media has turned out to be not always a great place for curiosity and naivety and humbly asking questions and saying, I don't even know what I think about this. The issue is too complicated for a simple pro or con. When you try not to have a fixed opinion online, you risk getting crucified for not taking a stand. And if you dare to change your mind about, well, anything at all, you'll get pounded on for being a sellout or a hypocrite or whatever the word of the day is. Now, I'm not doing this video to simply whine about all this, about, being masterminded by an aggression-addicted algorithm. I wanted to make this video to just remind us all, myself as well, that, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to question your own opinions and to be unsure and experimental on who you want to be. If youth in this context stands for, naivety and humbleness and being open to experimenting more, I can't think of anything smarter than to stay young. I love that quote from Diana Vreeland. I shall die very young. How young? I don't know. Maybe 70, maybe 80, maybe 90, but I shall be very young. Diana Vreeland, isn't she just such a mood? God, what a woman. Anyway, that's what I'm aiming for 2022, to stay young, to be open-minded and curious about everyone, especially those who have different worldviews from me. It's hard because our own brains and our own phones are working against us. But let's try it, eh? Are you with me on this? I actually had a cool experience the other week because I decided to reread a book I read maybe 3 years ago. And the first time I read it, I hated it. I thought it was boring, frustrating, and completely emotionless. But so many people love this book and talk about it so much that I thought, as an experiment, I should reread it, even though I hated it, just to try to see what other people love so much. And listen to this, I loved it. From the first sentence to the last, I extremely enjoyed it. And it's the same book, the exact same black letters on white paper. Nothing about the book has changed. The only thing that has changed is, well, me. I saw that as a terrific success and was very proud of myself for changing my mind. Have you ever drastically changed your mind on a book or movie before? Which one? So 2022, let's make it a year much sweeter than the last few. I am done with all the aggression on the apps. I want a little more conversation and a little less anger, please. So let's try to stay open-minded and all that, because I'm sure next year, no matter how old we are, in our teens or in our 30s or 80s, we should all be very young. What do you say? That's the last video from me before the holidays, and that means, you know what, that another year is gone. Another year where my job, the way I make my money, is by talking to you about whatever's on my mind. And of course, there's only one reason for this, and that is you guys. Like, I can't tell you how grateful I am for you sticking around and watching my videos. And the algorithm might be pushing aggression on us from all over the place, but at least this community, this little nook of the internet that we've built together, is so much sweeter than almost any other place. How lucky am I to have the kindest and cutest subbies out there. Love you guys and enjoy the holidays with lots of naps and reading and hot chocolate, and take care of yourselves, will you? And if you want to give us a little holiday gift yourself, go over to our house tour channel and show David and me a little love over there. David films these amazing vacation home and architectural gems, so go take a look if you haven't yet. Do you want to create a beautiful site, maybe start your own social commentary blog? If so, you should definitely do it with Squarespace. They have great blogging tools to share your stories, photos and videos to make it easy to reach your audience. You can also auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook or Tumblr, and simply schedule your posts for them to be properly tagged, and the descriptions and titles will show up correctly. You can of course add your social media accounts to your site so that it's easy for your readers to find you everywhere. Squarespace also have great traffic analytics so that you can see how many people are visiting your site, how long they're staying for, where they're coming from and what they're interested in, like internet etiquette or fashion or maybe veganism, for example. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/jennymustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. That's it guys, thank you so much for watching, love you lots, puss puss and god jul!